If you really want to understand what makes Tricia Guinn tick, you need to look back to her family farm near Stuttgart, Arkansas.
She was bright, bubbly, full of life, and always curious about things. She liked music, she liked art, and she definitely liked school.
School was a 3-room Catholic schoolhouse with students of different ages, all in the same room. She often got the highest marks in the class.
I can remember my mother saying, though, that Tricia was always inclined toward math. That was what she loved. I always said math was in Tricia's genes.
Her father died when she was 6, but she was surrounded by strong women, particularly her mother, Helen.
They had to be strong. You had to be hardworking and committed to what you were doing in order to be able to live on a farm and to be successful at it. That kind of work ethic was instilled in Tricia as a young child. Tricia got all of those skills, plus my mother was a very social person. She loved people. She never met a stranger, and Tricia got those skills too.
Tricia's work ethic and math abilities took her next to Hendrix College in Conway, Arkansas.
I only knew Tricia for a short period of time in the early 70s. She was a very bright student, very young. At that time, I had a number of very talented students. Tricia was one of the most talented. So it is little surprise to me that she has accomplished so much and has been so highly recognized.
After graduating from Hendrix with honors, she received a fellowship to study at the Columbia University Mathematics Master's Program in New York City. It was there she met her first actuary, a woman, and realized that her love of math could provide a decent apartment, as well as the luxuries of new shoes and handbags. She began her career in New Orleans at the consulting firm Nelson & Warren, which later merged with Tillinghast.
It was the kind of environment where everybody got to know each other pretty well pretty quickly. Models ran very, very slow, and the mistakes were made. There was a big cost for that in terms of time. You worked under pressure, and there was a real sense of family.
It was during this period that Tricia completed her actuarial exams and qualified as an actuary. Towers Perrin later acquired Tillinghast, and she became a principal.
We met a long time ago. I think we've known each other for almost 30 years. We were new principals of Towers Perrin then, and I think there was a new Social Security law or something that had been passed, and we had to do some work producing a brochure for the use of the firm, and she and I worked on that.
While I don't remember a lot of the specifics of the meeting, I do remember that she asked a lot of tough questions and felt a little bit intimidating at the time.
Her reputation for attention to detail, the finance guy found out it was more of an obsession with detail. And let me give you an example. The finance department would every month publish binders with all the P&Ls of her division, and that had to be 80 some odd P&Ls and 36 line items on the P&L. And the new finance guy comes in, and she's got that first month's book, and she's got the red pen out going through 36 line items, 80 P&Ls. I'm like, wow, that is serious.
I'd heard all about Tricia, but I was amazed at exactly how approachable she was, and also amazed that she knew exactly who I was. And I was very new to Towers Perrin at the time, and she knew precisely who I was, and that made me feel very good. And it really was the jumping off point for what was a long professional relationship.
We met each other in the roaring late 80s when there was big hair, big shoulder pads, New York City. Financial services was just booming.
It was the very first time I met her. I remember walking into a room to be greeted by Tricia, partially undressed and carrying flowers for me. I'd better explain a little more about this. It was a consultants conference, and the entertainment for the evening was a Hawaiian luau, and Tricia and Mary Ann Brown were standing at the door wearing grass skirts, giving flower garlands to all the guests as they came in.
I met Tricia Guinn 20 years ago when Chuck and I moved from the Tillinghast Simsbury office to Tillinghast, New York. And even back then, everyone knew two things about Tricia. Number one, she was one of the best life actuaries at Tillinghast. And number two, one day she would run all of Tillinghast.
So on a very rainy day in the lawyer's offices, there was Tricia across a conference table doing her, oh, I'm a poor girl from Arkansas, could you tell me about this great big investment business sort of thing. maybe I had an inkling that in fact that she was a little more clued in than all that. And if it wasn't that, for all that application experience, it just might have been those Manolo Blahnik boots under the table.
I think it was at the Munich Consultants Conference where she got up and did a handstand on the table at one of the dinners, which was quite impressive that she could even do that.
Well, Tricia's approach to clients and the way she interacts with them is, I think, a really great example for all of us. She's always very willing and keen to go and visit clients. She's always very well prepared. She interacts well with them and gets to the nub of the sort of issues that they're thinking about. And clients are always very keen to benefit from her insight and very broad, wide industry knowledge.
My main recollection is really Tricia's ability to assess the situation very quickly, to pick up on what was often some quite difficult technical matters, to assess the situation both the client's perspective and from ours, and to look to develop an acceptable solution for both sides.
So I think one of Tricia's greatest legacies would be the encouragement and support that she's given to our women colleagues, and whether that was one-to-one through mentoring, acting as a confidant and friend, or also through the initiatives that she's led and drove through our leadership team and the organization.
Tricia was really one of very few female actuaries back in that time. To become an actuary to begin with is a very rigorous process. As they got to know her more, and I think some of the things that I admire about Tricia the most, first of all, her intelligence, her tenacity, and her commitment to seeing things through all types of challenges and change. She has a great sense of humor that I think helps her in situations where, when the going got tough, Tricia knew when it was time not to take it too seriously.
When it was announced that Tricia would head the merged Tillinghast practices, almost half of her management team were women. We've all done very well throughout our careers, and Tricia continues to be instrumental in connecting American female executives through one of the top women's networking groups for insurance. In an industry that is typically dominated by men, she was really a legendary figure as a woman, leading one of the largest consultancy practices really in the world. And I think that really paved the way for a lot of others and is going to be one of her greatest legacies.
When our associates look at Tricia, they see a senior woman who's been able to accomplish it all, right? A family, a career, public image. This is something that actually inspires a tremendous amount of our associates, and that's a wonderful thing.
Over the years, Tricia's been my manager, my mentor, and my friend. Most of you may only know the professional side of Tricia, but I've been fortunate enough to know the personal side as well. I greatly respect all that Tricia's achieved throughout her long and distinguished career. I think she's just an amazing role model for women in Towers Watson. But I have to say, what I admire most is that she's achieved all of this on her own terms, without compromising her integrity and while keeping her family at the center of what's important.
Everyone knows her in business and how remarkably successful she was. I see her from the family side, that she was able to devote a lot of time to our children who are now college bound this year, 2015. And it's amazing that she was able to be involved in devote so much time to them when they were, various stages of childhood and young adulthood.
One of my fondest memories is when my daughter and I attended the New York Easter Parade with Tricia and her family. I don't know how many of you are familiar with this New York tradition, but New Yorkers of all ages don festive and wildly creative hats. In fact, the more outrageous, the better. And they meander down Fifth Avenue. Tricia and I, along with our daughters, were quite a sight, decked out in our Easter bonnets. But what really captured the most attention were Tricia's 3 cats, each sporting their own miniature Easter bonnets.
I think that what differentiates Tricia as a leader is that she's someone who leads from the head and the heart. In the course of having to make really tough decisions and stand behind them, I had the privilege of working with her in a way that showed me that it wasn't just about the outcomes for the business, but the outcomes for the people.
She's an icon in the insurance industry. So she worked her whole career at Tillinghast, Towers Perrin, Towers Watson. And has made enormous contributions to the firm over the years. But even beyond that, her impact on the insurance industry and the actuarial profession places her in iconic status beyond even within the confines of the firm.
The whole growth of the Tillinghast and the RCS business from a small group of entrepreneurs to a very significant global franchise. A lot of people came and went during that time frame, but Tricia was the constant. And from my standpoint, she'll always be synonymous with the growth of that business within Towers Watson.
You think about the clients she's worked with, the work product that she's helped develop, the software we've got now. This is stuff that's going to live on for decades.
Recently, Tricia was given the Insurance Legends Award from the Actuarial Foundation. And this award celebrates an individual for their leadership, their intellect, and their personal achievements, as well as their significant contributions to the insurance community and, of course, society in general.
Our leadership group is one of the most prestigious groups of people in the global insurance industry. Tricia's not only been a board member for a decade, but a member of our elite honors committee that selects laureates for the Insurance Hall of Fame. Such as her stature in the insurance business, she's been an invaluable asset to the IIS and an invaluable asset to the entire insurance industry.
Tricia, congratulations on your retirement. And thanks for everything. You've been with the company almost 40 years now, helping to grow and shape Towers Watson and the risk and financial services segment into the industry leaders they are today. The impact of your long and distinguished career will be felt around Towers Watson for years to come. Thank you for your many years of commendable service and guidance. I'll think of you often as I picture you thoroughly enjoying retirement. I wish you every future happiness.
Tricia, you've been a wonderful colleague and friend for a long, long time. And I wish you nothing but happiness, fulfillment, and good health as the years go on.
Tricia, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all that you've done for me.
I wish you and your family a wonderful, wonderful time during this next phase of your life called retirement.
Good luck, Tricia. Bon voyage et à bientôt.
Tricia, what can I say? It's been a wonderful ride. 39 years is hard to fathom. And I thank you so much for what you've done for the company and for me, and I wish you all the best in your retirement. Bon voyage.
Well, Tricia, I've really enjoyed working with you over the years, both in terms of your professional contributions and in terms of the fun you've brought to consulting as well. So many thanks for that, and really best wishes for your retirement.
Good luck, Tricia, and I really hope that your next long-haul flight has a fabulous vacation at the end of it.
I wish you every success for the coming years. All the best.
Tricia, have a wonderful retirement. Tricia, wow, 39 years. Thank you very much indeed, and all the very best in retirement.
Tricia, I wish you the best of everything in your retirement, but I want to thank you for everything that you've meant for me, and I just wish you the best of luck.
Tricia, wishing you all the best in your retirement, although I can't really believe that you're going to retire, and I'm sure we'll see you again before too long.
I can't imagine Towers Watson without you. I will really miss you.
Tricia, wishing you a happy and active retirement.
Tricia, I just want to extend my thanks to you for your thoughtful leadership over these so many years, your many years of guidance and encouragement, and most importantly, your friendship.
Tricia, Chuck, Aaron, and I wish you, Jared, Kimberly, and Charles all the very best in this new chapter of your lives. See you in Florida.
Tricia, namaste.
Tricia, I just want to say how proud we are of all that you've accomplished and all that you've done in your work life and in your private life. And I hope that now that you retire, we can spend a lot more time together.
Bon voyage, Tricia. I love you. We look forward to the future.